James Wan just posted a while ago a new picture of, a new Aquaman suit, and he said it's the stealth suit, and it's kind of blue, but mostly looks like it's it's very dark and black, and it's also a little bit different in design. There's a different belt, there's shoulder armor and stuff. So my first impression was I just loved it because even though that yellow suit fit the Aquaman movie, I'm not a huge fan of that choice. I think for that movie it worked, but I think if you want Aquaman to be fighting with the Justice League and the scenes are serious and big battle sequences, I think that would look absolutely ridiculous. So I much prefer the darker suit that JL had and BVS had. I think that works for him better. Even for Jason Momoa, it looks better on him. So this colored suit was instantly very attractive to me, and I'm totally on board. And this just basically sold me for the entire sequel because I think that James Wan has been telling for a while now that they're gonna go more complex and dark in the second movie, which I actually expected from the first movie, but DCEU was, very different at that time. It was the transition phase of the DCEU, and there was Jeff Johns. So, um, I guess this movie will be more of James Wan, more of what he wanted from the first movie. But maybe I'm just getting way ahead of myself just based on one suit. But yeah, I think this suit looks very, very good.
Yeah. Vivian, any thoughts on the Aquaman
Yeah,
new
I mean,
suit?
I'm actually looking at the suit right now and I have like the two suits, so I'm kind of comparing them. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see this. When I saw the suit, I was kind of like, okay, so, as you said, there's going to be, you have the newer suit where he becomes the king and it's it's a bit flashy, but I'm sure he can get around. But I think this suit might symbolize like he might be going a different route. And this is James Wan we're talking about, so I would always pick James Wan to be a horror person. So
Yeah.
I do expect him to definitely go, full in, now that he has more range. And of course, this was, back then was like his first Aquaman film. And, they were just starting out and they were like, well, we want this to be good. And, we want to please fans and stuff like that. But now that he kind of has a bit of a range and he can kind of do his own thing, I'm excited for it. I mean, I like the new suit. I think it's great. It's definitely like fits kind of, Jason Momoa's character more so than the green and orange. But I mean, don't get me wrong, like I think it's great, but I'm excited to see what he brings this time around because he could be a completely kind of a different character this time. He could do so much, but I'm excited to see what he does. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Grayson?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see like what I guess now with the benefit of hindsight with the Snyder Cut coming out, I wonder if because even though like I do think Juan tried to respect what Snyder did, I wonder if now he'll I guess if like Aquaman will be kind of closer to his characterization in like the way it was in the Snyder Cut because there is kind of a little bit of a jump when you compare how he is in Zack's JL compared to Aquaman. Like
Yeah.
the film in general is just it's a little brighter. Like I guess you can say it's more Jeff Johns than maybe some of us wanted. But also I'm not really sure if the first Aquaman went through those kind of same issues. Like we know Kathy Ann in Birds of Prey, she had some issues with the studio as far as getting the cut she wanted, and I'm not sure like what James Wan's experience is, so it's kind of hard to tell. I personally haven't seen much of his films because I'm not much of a horror guy, but
Oh
I'm looking forward
no.
to. I know. I should have said that. I should have just glossed over that. Yeah, I am looking forward to. Hopefully, he gets more creative control if he didn't before. And if anything, I think the suit looks good. I think for the first movie, the first suit looked kind of good too. I thought, even though it was kind of like, I think they're really trying to prove to, I guess, the long-lasting kind of impression that you can't adapt a goofy suit like that. So I think they said we're gonna do it no matter what, and I think they did actually okay.
Yeah.
I think the suit looks pretty cool, especially in fighting scenes. Um, but I kind of hope going down the line, it's just weird because like these guys they work out for like months on end, and the suit is just this complete armor. So I think they gotta find like a nice middle ground where it's not completely armor, but also not, I don't know. I think the new suit looks cool, especially the black one. But it does have that weird, kind of fake abs, so it looks kind of odd. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be paying attention that much to it. So I think it's not gonna matter once the movie starts playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Aquaman had a kind of a weird shift in tones at times. Like at times it was very serious, and then would have those cheesy jokes and stuff like that, and the ocean to ocean sauna.
I still love
I
that
don't know
movie,
what that
but
was.
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I really like the third act as well, the big battle between Ocean
Yeah.
Master and Aquaman. Just some of the visuals there is fascinating. I do like the suit, the gold armor suit. I think it looks pretty well actually. And it's a very good adaptation from the comic books. I have no problem with that whatsoever, and I'm sure we'll see that in the movie. But they can't go too far away from the first movie because the first one did make $1 billion, so it was a success. So it can't be the Schindler's List of comic book movies now with number two. They can't. But I think it will be a lot more serious though in parts. And I think maybe those jokes won't be as active, those cheesy jokes. But I definitely think he's going to try and implement some stuff maybe he wanted to do in the Trench series that got scrapped in the Trench movie. His Conjuring movies for me are some of the best horror movies ever made. The directing style there's just fascinating, absolutely brilliant. The camera work,
Yep.
especially in the house, it's just brilliant. It's a captivating film to watch because you feel like you're at the camera. You're just going through this house and all this stuff is happening. But I hope he has more of those shots because he did have similar shots like that with Nicole Kidman scene at the start when she's fighting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Aquaman 2 and The Lost Kingdom. But yeah, I seen this image and he talked about on his Instagram where he got the inspiration from. So I decided to Google because Google is good for that to find out more information about things. Because I'm a big comic book reader and what the suit is based off is this miniseries comic book that came out in 1986. And it kind of the subtitle for this miniseries was called Aquaman, but the subtitle was called "In the Shadowy Depths of Atlantis, His Life Will Change Forever." So there's kind of a basic small plot here. Aquaman settles back in New Venice when it is suddenly and totally destroyed by Ocean Master. Tragedy catapults Aquaman back to Atlantis, where he discovers that ancient talismans dating back to Arion's time are missing, and irate inhabitants have come to blame the surface world. To prevent a grisly war, Aquaman, in a redesigned costume, goes undercover searching exotic, never-seen underwater civilizations for the missing sacred talismans. So I think like the title for Aquaman 2 is The Lost Kingdom, so he's going to discover new civilizations. So I think James Wan is taking a lot more than just the inspiration for the suit for the movie. I think he's actually going into this comic book miniseries run and is bringing some story beats from that into this, which will be interesting because it's titled The Lost Kingdom. So obviously he meets a new civilization, a new kingdom. If they're good or bad, I'm not too sure. But the suit is basically camouflage for him to go undercover. I don't know what way that works when he's very long hair. He's very noticeable. But yeah, I think this new suit might kind of mirror the tone that he might be going for in the sequel. But I like it. I think it's cool. It's I don't the fake abs. I don't mind it. Reminds me of Batman and Robin. So that was, So yeah, I think it's gonna be a badass movie, and Jason Momoa is just great. So, but I do think, as a Grayson that said it, I do think the Snyder Cut has changed the thinking of some of the DC directors going forward when they're working with the same characters. I think that if Patty Jenkins gets to do Wonder Woman 3, she'll have to be looking at the Snyder Cut and saying, "Yeah, I'm probably better off to do that kind of Wonder Woman." I think the Flash movie is definitely influenced by the Snyder Cut coming out in the time that it did come out, right before they started to film. So I think that only benefits us as Zack Snyder fans for that movie. And I definitely think that James Wan, now after making $1 billion, definitely has more control. After seeing the Snyder Cut, he might try and cater to that Aquaman more than the one that Jeff Johns wanted to do in the first one. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as well. And I think going forward, we'll see more of the Snyderverse elements, at least, if not just direct, references and stuff. We'll definitely be seeing more of that tone and elements from that taken, I think. because I don't think any filmmaker, any professional filmmaker will would, take stuff from that Desecration Without Name.
Yeah, and there's also an interesting kind of description of this miniseries. Like Aquaman gets a new costume, and he works through some deep psychological issues. So I wonder, would James Wan bring that over for the sequel?
Oh, that would be
Maybe,
awesome.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
I would definitely love to see like how he's going to deal with like, he's the outcast and he's just brought into this world of like Atlantis and he's never ruled before. So I'm excited will he get to maybe touch a bit on that and kind of like how he's treated as the new king in his kingdom.
That is
So,
a very, very
yeah.
good point. He's the king now, and we haven't actually seen him be the king. So I think this movie will explore that, and I would love to see that.